Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tea and Crystals podcast. I am T.
And I'm Crystal.
Ladies and gentlemen, as always, we are so happy to have you all back with us for another episode of this here podcast. Now, we got a lot of good stuff to get into today, and I cannot wait to do it. But before we do, y'all know how I got to start the show. Crystal, how are you, my friend?
I'm pretty good. I got contacted for a possible job.
Hey!
So
Jesus.
It's very much up in the air, though. They were really just contacting me to confirm that I will be available for these dates, which I am.
Mm-hmm.
There was no formal interview, and that might just be because I've worked with a lot of the people before. I'm not sure. Maybe the interview's coming later. I was told that they were looking at other people as well. Like the guy was just like, so I don't really know what's going on, but I just wanted to confirm. I think he was just more or less trying to put my name in the hat for the possibility of this position.
Right.
It would just be a regular PA position. I would primarily be dealing with walkies and stuff like that if that is the case. But it would require that if, my key PA were to step away, that I would have to take over his position to help him out and stuff like that. And he was like, do you feel comfortable doing that? And I was like, yes. I was like, I mean, yeah. I've never been in that position, but I've PA'd for long enough that I feel like I would catch on pretty quickly. I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I'll probably be staring at you real hard those first couple of days to really kind of lock in on what you're doing and stuff. But if one thing has taught me this past show that I just did is that I tend to underestimate myself sometimes. So I need to learn to just be more confident in my abilities. Even if I don't know how to do something, I feel like I learn things pretty quickly. And I pick up on things, and I'm very observant, especially when I know I need to learn something. So I just need to, be more confident in myself. So we'll see where it goes. Hopefully, it leads to at least an interview or whatever, but I'll keep you guys updated as it goes.
Well, please do. I say go in it with confidence, because you know how many people fail upwards in the world just by trying shit. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
We really, we're in the season of, girl, why not?
Right.
Why not? Why not just do it? You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of us, especially those of us who are more introverted, tend to overthink things and psych ourselves out for stuff. And it's like, well, what if this go wrong? And what if this happened? But then you get in the situation and it's like, damn, I'm really navigating this shit. This is, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then you look back on it, you were like, what was I scared of? You know what I'm saying? So any of y'all listeners that's out there going through the same thing, keep that in mind. Just try this shit.
I always tell people that I'm a very different person starting out something versus me being comfortable in it. A lot of people on the previous show, they kept saying, oh, Crystal, towards the end of the show, they were like, oh, you're so different than when you started out. You were so shy. You were so quiet. We corrupted you. I loved it. And it's like, no, it's just this has always been me. But when I'm starting something new, my introvert persona takes over in that regard. So I'm very shy. I'm very quiet. I'm very observant, because a lot of times I'm trying to figure out my place in this world, figure out what I know, what I need to master, what I'm not quite grasping, stuff like that. And also just from the people too. I don't know you like that. You're new. I don't know how I can joke with you, how I can be sarcastic with you. Are you sensitive to things? Are we going to vibe? Are we going to mesh? If I say something out of pocket, are you going to go with it, or are you going to be offended by it? You got to be really careful what you say around people, because just offending someone in a workplace is grounds sometimes for punishment. So I got to figure out who I can trust and on what level I can trust. And that right there will let you know the type of person you get from me. my boss made a comment one time to, I guess, others. We had all gone out to eat. I think this was the first time we were all together. And, it had been a couple months since we started filming. So I guess I talked a little bit more. And she made a comment to one of the other workers, like, oh, Crystal's a talker. Like she can really talk sometimes. And I was just like, I don't remember talking all that much at the table. I just remember contributing to the conversation every once in a while.
Yeah,
but
I take offense to that. What you mean,
right,
a talker? What is a talker?
right. But at the same time, to her, that's probably is a surprise to see me engaging any sort of conversation at that point, because with her, I don't talk. I only listened. I only spoke to her if she needed something. I had learned by that point, don't ask her questions, don't go to her for things, like, so she only ever heard me saying, copy that, got you, understood, those types of things over the walkie or stuff like that. She never heard general conversation. Whereas the rest of them at this point, we had gotten along. Some of them I had been going out to dinner with frequently or getting drinks with or something like that. And so I was comfortable with them. So yeah, I opened up probably more because at the end of the day, there's 4 people I'm really good with, and it's just her. So it's not enough for me to feel uncomfortable with the people I'm in, So yeah.
Don't it suck when all you're doing is being yourself, and there are some hating ass, like, it's really crazy how people will like watch you and look for something to not like
Yeah.
that's insane to me.
Yeah.
I've learned that many, many, many times. And fortunately, I won't say unfortunately, fortunately for me, and I think you can attest to this, Crystal, knowing me as long as you've known me. I think I'm me wherever I go. You get varying levels of me.
Yeah.
But the me that you meet is the me that I am. There ain't too much variation on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If the mood calls for it, I'm a little more hype. Generally, I'm pretty baseline.
Yeah.
And I think it's crazy when down the line and stuff you hear the stuff that people have said, and and I never confront people or anything unless it's egregious. But I just let that shit simmer, because you really have to root your self-worth in yourself and not what people have to say about you. Or like in your situation, that comment, like, that was so nasty and so rude. Like, you don't even know me. And for some people, that will cause some people to withdraw and be like, okay, well, let me not, okay, maybe I'm doing too much. Like, no, you really got to push through that shit, because them people that decide that they don't like you for whatever reason, or, you know what I'm saying? You're never going to change their mind. So you really got to operate in not even a fuck you kind of, mentality, but more of a, I'm living my authentic self, and shit won't even phase me. I can't allow it to phase me, because then it's chipping away at my authenticity. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, that's all we got.
Yeah.
You start chipping away at your authenticity, and you start chipping away at your self-worth, your happiness, and all that different type of stuff. And then, girl, you're going to end up in a spiral. Don't get me started.
Yeah,
Haters,
I feel you.
I cannot compute it. I
Yeah.
just don't feel that way towards people.
I don't think I feel that way towards people either. Like, I try to give people pretty much the benefit of the doubt for the most part. Like, I want to get along with people, I want to see the best in people in a lot of ways. The only time I probably don't give someone the benefit of the doubt necessarily is if the vibe is off from it. Like, I also go off of energy, and if your energy is off, it's really hard for me to be open to you not being how I'm feeling you are, if that makes sense. But yeah, like I was saying though, I am a very different, I mean, it just depends. Some people I'm really comfortable right off the bat, and so yeah, I can talk a lot. But for the most part, I'm pretty quiet when I first meet people or I'm in a new situation. And then, like you said, with the layers as they go, you know, different things will pop out. But for the most part, I feel like I am who I am. But yeah, like I will say in a work setting, like I'm very different from when I start to when I'm comfortable. When I'm comfortable and I'm confident, like it shines through, and I don't have time for like BS. If I know how it's supposed to go, like I already know, like, you're not going to mess with me. You're not going to fool me. So, and I love helping people too. I love training people when I'm in a position because I know what it felt like to be in their position. So yeah, circling all the way back to, you know, the possible job coming up. It's like, yeah, I've never been in that position, but I've been in a roundabout way that position, if that makes sense, because I have been PAing since I was since 2020 and stuff like that. So, like I said, it's just an extension of what I already know. And I just need to be more confident in that.
So. And you've already been in a situation where you've had to step outside, you know, expand in a role.
Yeah.
And girl, you're not getting shit out the park. So, bitch, you got it.
Thank you.
Song of the week before we get into other people's business this week. Okay. So I was given the news that maybe for some of y'all, the song that I chose last week was not, it was for a certain demographic. Okay. This one I'm going to try to make more broad while keeping the same summer wind in your hair, top down kind of mood, while also keeping it authentic. So the song of the week this week is Bodyguard by Beyonce Giselle Knowles Carter off of her Cowboy Carter album. That's a bop, y'all. If you can't take the top down and put the wind in your hair to that song, I don't know what to tell you. It's a good country pop tune. She sang, her vocals on it are so good. The instrumental, you can't help but to tap your foot, shake your shoulders. It's a good time. Go check it out. You can find it on our playlist. Link is in the description along with Beyonce's name and the name of the song, Bodyguard. Hit it up on Spotify, hit play. Make sure you play the rest of the playlist too. And let me know what y'all think of the playlist so far. If y'all have any suggestions for songs that y'all want to put on there, but don't suggest no bullshit, because I will flame you. Okay. All right. Chris, you ready to get into some other people's business?
Yes.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. Which one do I want to start with? We'll start with this one. Okay. So this one is from the Am I the Asshole forum. And this one says, am I the asshole for telling my sister to find another babysitter after she said, I don't know real stress because I don't have kids?
Oh. Now, why would you? You know you're not supposed to piss your babysitter off until after they done babysat. I'm sorry. Please continue.
That's true. Right. So boom. I'm 30 female, no kids, no husband, living my best soft life. I got a decent job, my apartment stays clean, and I sleep like a baby every night. My sister, 33 female, has 3 little gremlins under the age of 7 and swears she's the only person on earth who has ever been tired. Last week, she hits me up on some, hey, can you watch the kids this weekend? Me and my husband need a break before we lose our minds. Cool. I was about to say yes until she hits me with, I mean, it's not like you got anything going on. You don't have kids. You're probably just chilling anyway. Like, girl, did you really just call me a free trial version of a human being? So I told her flat out, nah, you can find someone else since my chill life apparently ain't stressful enough to be respected. Now she's mad, telling the whole family I abandoned her when she's clearly drowning and that I'm selfish because I wouldn't step up just this once. Like, girl, you disrespected me mid-request. You fumbled your favorite bag. Now our mom's on the phone like, I get you're upset, but it's for the kids. And I'm like, that's cute, but I'm not your emergency childcare plan just because I'm not sleep deprived and covered in goldfish crumbs. So am I the asshole for refusing to babysit after she shaded my whole lifestyle like I'm not out here thriving?
I am dead at free trial human beings. That I've never heard before. I knew she was an African American when she started off the letter. So boom. I was like, oh, we got a sister. Oh, we got a sister. And it was just confirmed with every sentence you read from there on. A free trial human being is fucking funny. I'm about to change my Twitter name to that. Free trial human being. What? Okay. So for me, this letter represents a broader conversation, right? That's been happening over years in the internet space. That is so, it's like the 50-50 who's paying for dinner, all those different type of conversations and shit. It's so boring and annoying. Like, shut the fuck up, y'all. And just do what y'all do. Like, it don't have to be all that. Like, if you got kids, nice. You got kids. Now I ain't gonna hold you. As somebody with a child, it's a lot of goddamn work. And a lot of your free time is not yours. You know what I'm saying? You really do have to plan stuff around your children, especially when you have multiples. God bless y'all that do. And as someone who has had a previous life without a child, I understand the value of having a alone time, being able to do what you want to do when you want to do it, and so forth. I hate this whole, when you have kids, casting aspersions and judgment on people who don't have kids, because low-key, girl, is jealousy. Okay? But then again, for the people who don't have kids, it's quite annoying that you're like, well, now why you had to call the kids gremlins? Why you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all always throwing jabs and stuff. I'm sleeping good at night, uninterrupted sleep. I went out to dinner last night on a whim. Okay, we get it. Okay, what the fuck is that supposed to? You made a different life choice. Like, why does there have to be this holier than thou, better than thou behind the shit that y'all say, whether you have kids or you don't have kids? Just mind your businesses, okay? Lady with the child, you need that child watched. Don't say nothing crazy to your sister until after she watched that child. Like, why it gotta be all that? And I think it's because this is a story that, you know, is very, very, very common, especially with that comment. It ain't like you got nothing going on anyway. Because, girl, you don't. But you have a lot of choices. And I think that's where you're coming from when you're saying, bitch, don't try it. Okay? Because I'll get some plans. I'll get some plans. You know what I'm saying? Because I have the ability to do that. And that's when the back and forth starts. Okay? While what your sister said is true in a certain context, she was saying, you ain't got nothing going on right now that's preventing you from watching my child. You don't have any obligations or anything as far as she knew. So I see where your sister, I don't think your sister was being malicious with it in this instance, but a lot of the time when people say that, they are being malicious. So here's why I fall. I don't think you the asshole for not watching that girl baby, because she disrespected you flat out. She ain't had to say this shit to you at all. While I don't think she was malicious in her intent, she was being a smart mouth, but I don't think she was really trying to hurt your feelings because you don't have kids, is what I'm trying to get at. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's that deep. But I don't blame you for not watching her kids, because for real, if it offended me, bitch, I would have been like, fuck you in that little crumb crusher. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And that line about the goddamn goldfish cracker dust. I mean, I want to shake her hand. She really did her big one with that letter. But yeah, that's why I fall on it. I think OP is justified in not watching the child, and the sister, it won't all that. You know what I'm saying? It won't all of what you're low-key making it to be, but I understand why you was offended.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't think this is I don't think she's the asshole for this. Her sister did fumble her. She didn't need to say what she said. I don't know if you know, she is really tired. She's drowning right now, like she said. She wants alone time with her husband, and she's feeling jealous that she knows that you don't have those types of obligations. So she just felt like she needed to say something out the side of her mouth. I don't know why. I don't, maybe it's a sister thing. I don't know.
Sister.
But I do find it funny when I see like those who are child free clashing with those who aren't child free. I actually see it quite often, like on TikTok and stuff like that. Because it very much is I don't understand why you can't mind your business type of thing. If you're someone who's, especially in the content world, if you're someone whose content revolves around you having kids, having this family life, cool. I don't see why a child-free person needs to be coming up there giving you advice or bragging about not having those responsibilities, or even just saying something like, oh, that looks like hell to me, or something like that. I understand why there's some people who do say things like, especially for those who are really rooted in the traditional sense, where they're like, my husband pays for anything. I don't have my own bank account. Like, I'm in this marriage for life. Girl, stop being so naive. Like, yes, right. I am sure you are. But it's not you just
in danger, girl.
Right. It's not just, what was I trying to say? It's not just divorce that can separate you from your husband. He could die. And then what? You've never had any experience handling money. You've left all that situation. So you don't know how to handle money. Now you're single with kids.
Policy.
Stuff like that. It's like when people give that advice, a lot of times, not every time, but a lot of times it really is just advice to just take care of yourself and your kids in the event that something unlikely happens that you weren't expecting. And there's nothing wrong with being prepared. Having a separate bank account with your own money in it, even if it's just a little at a time, like that's not a bad thing. It's not saying this is going to fail. It's just being prepared. It's no different than someone, having canned goods in, their garage or something like that, because they don't know if a storm's going to come through and knock all the power out at some point. It's just being prepared for life events that you never know is going to happen. And then at the same time, when people are doing their content where it's literally them just living their life, they're like, oh, I'm going out, I'm having dinner, I'm traveling, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And then people try to come in and talk about how their life looks sad, how they look lonely. You need to find a husband, you need to find a wife, you need to find kids to fulfill your life. And these people will be like, I don't want any of that. I don't want any of that. And for some reason that triggers some people. Like they have to inject their belief that no, the only way to live your life is by finding a partner and having kids and settling down. Like, that's it. That's what life is supposed to be about. And it's like, for you.
Exactly.
For you.
That's the thing that boggles me. Like, why does the version of the life that I live have to be the template for everybody? Like, that's something in politics and everything that I don't understand. Like, how are we building a template for what the human experience is supposed to be? Bitch, you only go around this mother one time.
Yeah.
As long as they ain't hurting nobody, let these people get what they want out of this experience. It boggles the mind. You know what I'm saying?
So back to the story. You're not the asshole, and everyone just needs to mind. Let people live the way they want to live, as long as it's not hurting anybody else. Like, who cares? If you're jealous, just say you're jealous. And if you're, I'm going to leave it there.
On both sides. On both sides. If you're jealous, just
say you're jealous.
Just say you're jealous. Yeah. All right. Well, my story comes to us from the same subreddit r/am I the asshole, and it is entitled, "Am I the asshole for making my sister's gender reveal cake gray because she wouldn't tell me the gender?"
I feel like this might be a petty revenge thing or something.
Oh, yeah. I think you're onto something, Crystal. So she says, I, 22-year-old... Oh, sorry. This is a man. I apologize. I say
somehow
I just say she
more
off
sense.
the rip. Okay. All right. He says, I, 22-year-old male, bake as a hobby, and I'm actually pretty good at it. Like, I get paid under the table for weddings and baby showers, kind of good. My sister is pregnant and wanted me to make a cake for her gender reveal. Cool, no problem. I asked her to send me the info so I could prep the inside, classic pink or blue filling. She says, oh, I want to be surprised too. Just make it neutral for the reveal and we'll find out together. I was like, huh? So you want a gender reveal cake with no gender reveal? She says she'll have someone email me the info at a later time. That someone never did. Deadline comes and I still have no gender. So I make the cake. The inside is gray outside, just full on cement vibes. I even added little fondant clouds for effect. It still tasted great, but visually, grim as hell. The reveal day comes, they cut into it, and my sister looks pissed. Her husband is confused. People start murmuring. Then she pulls me aside like, why did you make it gray? That's so passive aggressive. I calmly reminded her that no one told me the gender. I literally had no data to work with. I told her I wasn't about to guess and go full improv on someone's baby cake. Now my mom says I embarrassed her in front of the family and that I should have tried harder. Tried harder to do what? Some of the... Sorry, this line is... I'm sorry. Sorry, let me read that again because this is funny. Now, sorry. Okay. Now my mom says I embarrassed her in front of the family and that I should have tried harder. Try harder to do what? Summon the gender through vibes? So, am I the asshole for making the most neutral reveal cake in history?
I might go against through vibes. I might go against the grain in this, but I'm gonna say yes. You're the asshole for this. Like, sir, I understand. Maybe you're feeling some type of way that you weren't finding out the gender before everybody else. I don't know, but yellow, green, pastels. You could have, as someone who is doing this on even on a side hustle, this is a business for you in some way. Come on now. Like, this was pettiness. This was straight pettiness. Now, granted, you know, if your sister was the one planning this, maybe she just got way into over her head and just thought, you know, I told you I just want it neutral and thought you could handle it or whatever. And you took offense to the lack of communication. I get it. There is a lack of communication there. But this wasn't just some random client. This was your sibling. And maybe that's why you felt comfortable doing something like this. But at the same time, like, this was just straight pettiness. To me, this wasn't you. There were ways to make this gender neutral, to make it nice and pretty, how you know your sister probably would have envisioned it, than just giving straight gray. Is it funny? Yes. I laughed throughout this whole letter. But in the context of, are you the hassle for it? Yes, you are. She should have communicated better with you. If you didn't get the information, you also could have reached out and been like, hey, nobody said anything. I need a final answer at this point. Otherwise, it's going to be gray. You could have done something like that. Right. You know, when the deadline came and nobody answered. And then it would have been her responsibility to get in contact with you. And if she still didn't and you went with the gray, at least you warned her. And then I would have said, no, you're not the asshole. But this was a sibling squabble. That's what this was. A sibling squabble that was unnecessary.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to say you're the asshole on this one.
They were tearing his ass up in them college crystals. They were tearing his ass up so bad that they had to put the comment section where you had to spin Reddit karma in order to comment. Like, and a lot of the comments were deleted. So I don't know if he was going through and deleting people's comments or what. Mm-hmm. They was tagging his ass. I was like, oh my God. Because I agree. He is the asshole for that. Like, when she said neutral, that means not blue, not pink. Just
literally,
make a cake. Just
Mm-hmm.
make a cake. Make a vanilla cake.
Honestly.
You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, if she cut into the cake and there was no reveal, and it was just, yellow cake, that's on her. You can tell her that. But literally nobody gave me the information I needed.
Yeah.
And now he did give a little teeny tiny little update. If I can find it, hold on. I had one away from. He did give a little update, and he said that he did follow up with her a couple days before the reveal about the information, and she said that somebody's going to take care of it, and he figured that it would be handled, and he didn't want to pester her since she seemed chill about the whole thing, but he ended up never getting the information. So, I mean, some roundabout kind of way he did his due diligence, but at the end of the day, like Crystal said, you just made it petty for no reason. Like you took it like she didn't do anything to hurt or offend you for real, for real. She just didn't give you the pertinent information, but you still could have made the cake.
Yeah. Like she gave you enough, neutral is enough information that you could have, even if you went with like a light brown, you could have made it like a forest theme or a bear theme or something. Like you could have done something other than a stormy cloud, as if this is a storm she's about to have to weather.
I can tell he's the younger sibling. I can tell he's the younger sibling, and he's been doted on a lot, and I'm not gonna say the last thing I was gonna say.
Yeah, I feel like with this, even if you did follow up a few days before, with your little edit, you're still the asshole in my opinion. Like that didn't do you any favors. You did the bare minimum of following up with this information, and at the end of the day, if you had not gotten a color, and anything else would have been better. White would have been better.
Because gray, like cakes don't come in gray. So you had to mix that like the intention in it is what I would have picked that cake up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, made my cake like that. Because the disrespect and the thought and the process that had to go into making this shit gray.
The way I would have angrily been eating this cake and criticizing it, this shit is dry. There is not a moisture in sight on this cake. Why? No wonder we didn't. This is the last time we're getting family and doing charity work.
Okay, do you want him to set the house on fire? Because if he does this did that cake like that behind her not doing anything to him, imagine if she actually did something to him. She gonna start that car up. He gonna have to put a potato in her exhaust. Don't play with that boy. All right. Well, thank you for indulging me in that letter. I enjoyed those 2 letters. They were a good time. Y'all out here writing these letters with comic effect. I appreciate it. But we got more good stuff coming up on the show. We got a middle section coming up right after the break. We'll see you on the other side. Ladies and gentlemen, T here. I hope you're enjoying the show so far. Listen, we need you to do us a solid. We need you to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening. Share what you love about this here podcast and help spread the word about this hidden gem. If you have any stories that you'd like to share with us, or anything that you would like for us to share on the show, please do so by sending it to our email, which is in the description for you below, or in any of our DMs on our various social media platforms. Now, let's get back to the show. And we are back. Now, Crystal, I know you have prepared something for us today. What you got?
I have, and I feel bad because we've had such a lighthearted beginning to this episode, and now I'm about to bring the mood all down. I did not anticipate our stories to sync up the way they did, because you guys remember neither one of us had heard each other's stories, so I don't know what we were feeling. But we're gonna go on ahead to our middle section, which is celebrity nuggets, only it's really just one nugget, because I don't know if it's just because we grew up in this era, but right now something pretty serious is playing out in the court system with P. Diddy and his trial having started this week. It's actually currently going on right now. Real-time live updates have been going on. And I just want to bring attention to some of the information that has now been revealed, because as some of you guys who are keeping up with that know, Cassie Ventura, who was Diddy's girlfriend on and off for well over a decade, and who more or less got this whole thing kind of started, when she sued him a couple years ago. 2 years now? Or it was only 1 year? I don't know. It's just...
I think it's about 2 years now.
Is it about 2 years? It just feels like it happened so fast. Like, it really feels like it just happened. But for those who need a recap, she sued him, and then literally a day later they settled. But regardless of the settlement, obviously there was enough information or enough interest that, authorities decided to take more of a look at Diddy, and it just snowballed from there. But she has taken the stand. I will warn those who are not familiar with the case or might be, sensitive to some things. Some of the information that's coming out might be graphic. So if you don't like that, you're more than welcome to skip on. If you're interested, there are plenty of news articles out there that you can go ahead and read. In the meantime, I've gotten this little slideshow that gives us a brief breakdown of kind of what Cassie has said. She is currently 8 months pregnant, and she's testifying that Combs, forced her to have intercourse with male prostitutes and that he assaulted her. She said that they were on again. Oftentimes they got violent arguments. She's quoted as saying, "He would bash me on my head, knock me over, drag me, kick me, stomp me on the head if I was down," which, for those of you who have seen the video of her in the hotel room, that's all of the things he pretty much did in that video. In terms of the freak off parties as been thrown around, she does get into a little bit more details of that. She says it began in the first year of their relationship when she was only 22. She is quoted as saying, "Sean proposed to me this idea, this encounter he called voyeurism, where he would watch me have intercourse with another person, specifically another man. It basically entails the hiring of escorts and setting up this experience so that I could perform for Sean." She told jurors that he recorded her having intercourse with the male escorts that eventually turned into blackmail material. She said she was scared he would release them, put them on the internet. She also said that she eventually let her music career languish because these parties ended up becoming a job for her. She says that they ranged anywhere from 36 to 72 hours, with the longest one lasting for 4 days. She said the longest ever was 4 days, maybe even more, on and off with the breaks. It was significant. She said recovering from the encounters with strangers, dehydration, and the drugs took days. She went on to say that they found these escorts through classified ad companies, Craigslist, and Backpage, and that she did go into the whole baby oil stuff. She said that he once had an entire inflatable swimming pool filled with bottles of baby oil, insisting the oil be heated and applied every 5 minutes so his SMEX show participants would be glistening, she said from the witness stand.
That is crazy.
Right? Her quote is, "It was Diddy's preference. If he felt you were too dry, he would let you know you needed to be shining." This is the part that gets graphic. So again, if it's...
This the part that gets graphic?
This is the part. Okay? Oh. So I'm warning y'all. But she did say that Combs would urinate on her sometimes, and that he would also direct males to do the same during their encounters, and that she sometimes had them do it at the same time. She said that Diddy referred to male escorts as staff members when having their agent book travel so as to avoid speculation. She said that she felt sick almost every time. If she was nauseous or vomiting, he would encourage her to get up and continue on with it. Continue on with the intercourse, even if I felt like vomiting or if I was vomiting. And she also said that he directed the sex sessions down to the last detail, and said Sean and the escorts would have intercourse with me. It was just like a lot happening at once. At one point, and then the prosecutor then asked her at what point would the escorts ejaculate, and she said usually when it was okay for them, per Sean. Like I said, this case is actually currently going on with live updates. Just a couple of the headlines. She said that Diddy lunged at her with a wine opener when he found out she was dating Kid Cudi. She testifies that she didn't have the resources she needed to leave him, and that the first time he was physically abused to her, she was just shocked. I know that some of the videos of the parties are being shown to what I believe is just the jury. I think there's some sort of screen that only they can see, and they're the only ones who are allowed to see some of these images, so they're the only ones who are seeing them. But those images are being shown, or those video clips are being shown. And as you know, this is an ongoing thing. What do you think about the information that's been coming out?
Girl, I have been listening. There's a podcast that's actually covering the trial day by day. They give a kind of a recap of what's happened. I really appreciate the way that you've covered it here, because a lot of the details that you're sharing is the first time I'm hearing them. So I think, the podcast that I'm listening to it is from a major news organization. So I think they are, scrubbing a lot of the details, to try to make it as palatable as possible.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you sharing these details and stuff, because this is stuff I didn't know.
And to give credit to where credit's due, this is a slideshow of information, which the reason why I chose it is because it had so much in such a small section. So I felt like I could cover a lot. It's on TikTok. It's a Daily Telegraph. They're the ones who made this slideshow. So kudos really out to them because I agree. I think this information, it's people should know just how bad it gets and how it did get and how it can get. And Cassie deserves to be heard. Her truth deserves to be told.
Say it, and I really appreciate her, because I know she had a lot of hesitancy coming up and telling her side. And I think it's really brave that she is doing it and doing it in such great detail. I think it speaks to kind of a broader conversation that needs to be had about what people are getting away with when they amass wealth and power, right? Because we hear the stories and things. We've heard stories and stuff about Diddy since Diddy has been Diddy. Of him, abusing his artists, threatening people's lives, allegedly having people taken off the face of the earth, and then with these freak-offs and stuff, it absolutely makes sense for his character when you consider everything that's out there about him, because all of this shit can't be lies. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to lie. When the stories first came out a couple years ago in detail, I was really like, there is no way all of this has been happening with all of these people present. And like, this is the best kept secret in Hollywood. The best and worst, because the rumors were always there, but there was never any concrete evidence. It was always just whispers. And it's like, for all of these people to be involved and for him to have held all those people captive for all those years really speaks to how much influence people with power and wealth have over people. And I feel I just can't imagine how it is for Cassie, when you're explaining the sexually explicit things that happened to her and what she had to participate in. And I'm so happy that now she gets to live a life with a man that, with her husband. and they're having children and stuff. But I just can't imagine how she had to work through that to get to the point where she could be, intimate again and vulnerable. And because that sex is a very vulnerable thing. Mm-hmm. And for it to be perverted and used as a weapon against you, that would really fuck me up. Like, I don't know if I would be able to get back to that place where I could find any joy or anything in it, because it's attached to something so traumatic, and not just one traumatic or two traumatic experiences. We talk about years and years of abuse, behind somebody that you loved at one point. I really, really, and it's so sad that women have to come up with like cold, hard evidence in order for men, especially, but there's a lot of women out there too, a lot of pick-me's out there who will speak down on a woman, behind, protecting a man. For what? A man that they usually don't know, because we're talking about celebrities here. We're not talking about everyday people. These celebrities that they don't know will never know, and these celebrities don't give a fuck about them, and we're seeing it time and time again. A la Tory Lanez, who just got stabbed up in jail a couple days ago. For y'all who don't remember, he is convicted for having allegedly shot at or shot Megan in the foot, Megan Thee Stallion. And there's just a story that came out, I believe it was yesterday, of Halle Bailey and her baby's father, Diddy, who was a streamer and part-time music artist, I guess you could say. And they've had a tumultuous relationship, and she's kept everything very, very quiet. But he's been very vocal about their relationship when it involves their shared son. And, she just came out. She just got a restraining order on him because he was showing up at her house, while she wasn't there, unannounced, sending her cryptic pictures, threatening her, going online, twisting stories. And then come to find out it was physical abuse involved in that, allegedly, as well. She posted pictures, or pictures were posted online. I don't know if she posted them directly. I don't know how they got out, but they were text messages and pictures and evidence and stuff of the abuse that she endured while they were together. And there were still people in the comments trying to make it seem like, oh, she just wants to, she just wants custody of the son. She's real desperate, to make him look bad. It just really shows this, how the patriarchy is poisoning people, especially online. So I think this case is just yet another example of, in this case, a man with wealth and influence getting away with shit that he shouldn't have been getting away with for way too long. Just based on with this trial is probably going to go on for a while, because I believe both the prosecutors and the defense have a lengthy list of witnesses. So this trial is going to go on for a while. But from everything that I've heard, throw that nigga under the jail.
Yeah.
It's sick.
It is. At this point. I agree. I did not know about Halle Bailey and her situation, which is really sad because, she was one of the people that I worked with on the film last year. And, I only interacted with her a handful of times. There wasn't a very long shoot, but and at least in the professional sense, she was very sweet, very soft-spoken. To me, it felt very, what you see is what you get. Like, how you think she is, that is how she is. I mean, like I said, I don't really know how else to describe her other than that she was very sweet. She was very soft-spoken. She was very open to people. She laughed really quickly, joked around a lot, but not in the sense of like it being unprofessional or anything like that. She just was open to people interacting with her, which is it can be rare in the film setting. So that's really sad to hear because she was very sweet on set and her son was adorable. He was there often. So I wish her nothing but the best, obviously. Yeah. And I hope her situation, she gets what she needs out of it because, you never know how those things will go. And I hope that he will get help and they can figure out their custody agreement and, it ends amicably enough. But yeah, as far as Diddy's trial, I agree. I personally, I don't think I really, the defense is going to do their argument, but honestly, I don't see this being a innocent.
No.
I feel like,
the jury is majority male.
That's true. But
I don't think that's going to make a difference.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to make a difference if they're, especially when they're being shown these pictures and these videos that the rest of us aren't going to be able to see. So just hearing it is bad enough, but to see it, I can't imagine. People surprise us though, so I can't say for certain. But I'll be keeping an eye out for more information as the trial develops.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Crystal. Yes. I don't think that brought the mood down. It's important information that people need to pay attention to. Like I said, not just for this specific case, but to kind of give context to what people are going through out here. I won't just say women because there were male escorts that were involved in this situation, and from what I understand, some of them also, talked about certain types of abuse that they endured, with him, threatening their livelihoods and threatening to release stuff and, operating out of fear to perform for him. Yeah. It's disgusting, but
agreed.
Oh, should we move on?
Let's move on.
Let's get back into these stories. Thank you again for that, Crystal.
You're welcome.
So our next story comes from the subreddit r/am I the asshole, and it is entitled "Am I the asshole for refusing to change someone's baby's diaper?" I can fall on either side. Here we go. My wife and I have been married for 10 plus years and have a few kids. Sister-in-law and her husband had a baby 2 years ago. No major complaints. They just tend to ask people to do stuff that I would think they do themselves. They'll come over. These are a few examples he's listing. They'll come over to the house. They live about an hour away. And they'll ask ahead of time if we have their kids' favorite crackers on hand. Why they wouldn't pack up the crackers, I don't know. They're well off and money is no issue. If one of them leaves the room, they'll ask one of us, my wife or kids, to be in charge of the baby, even if the other parent is right there just scrolling on their phone or something. But whenever I say something to my wife, she says I'm being too much. The other day we were having dinner at mother-in-law's house when the baby had a poopy diaper. Sister-in-law looks at me and says with the sweetest voice, "Uncle, can you change the diaper?" She frequently does this when we're there, but this is the first time that I was asked. I answered politely, "No, I don't do that." "You don't do diapers?" "No, I don't do other people's kids' diapers if their mom and dad is around. I mean, if I'm babysitting, sure thing, but yeah, if the parents are around, I feel like that's their job." Sister-in-law looks at me like she's ready to cry. Well, I feel selfish. I smile to try and set her at ease. Not trying to make you feel any way, just telling you a boundary is all. The table got really awkward as she got up and did the diaper. Afterwards, my wife blamed me for making sister-in-law feel bad and said that I could have just changed the diaper. Not trying to make anyone feel bad, but I've had 3 kids and I took full responsibility. I watched them, I packed for them, and I changed them. Now I'm not looking to be a secondary parent for this kid. Am I the asshole?
Yeah, no.
Krista said no thought.
No thought.
Yeah.
That's not my kid. No, I'm not responsible for that. Yeah, no, I don't like the fact that his wife is enabling this type of behavior. I also, I had a friend whose sister-in-law was she was, I think she was German or something like that. So I don't know if this played a factor in it. But her sister-in-law was I don't hear things about her and think I ever would like her. Like, let's put it that way. But they had a baby, and their baby she's very much like my baby is princess, like should be treated as princess. And she gives off those vibes too. For instance, she herself never changed the baby's diaper. That was not her job, and she absolutely refused. And when I say refused, I mean, like, they had all gone out to dinner one time. It was like my friend and her husband. It was her husband's brother and his wife. That's the sister-in-law and brother-in-law. It was them. And then I guess their parents, maybe, the brother's parents or whatever were there. But they were all there, and the child needed to be changed. And she told the husband, go change her. And he came back and was like, there's no changing room in the men's room. I can't do it. And she's like, well, then you need to go to the women's room. She refused. She would not do it. Absolutely would not do it.
Why would you have a child? Why would you have a child?
To me, the more
that's one of the main things you got to do. Like,
the more I hear about stories about her, like, I don't think she doesn't love her child. Like, I do think she loves her child. Mm-hmm. I also think she almost treats them prop-like, if that makes sense. Like, they're just an accessory. Like, they're just something she was supposed to have, and since she has to have it, they have to look the best, be the best, and be treated the best, if that makes sense. But also it's not necessarily coming in a loving way, which is why I said this is not someone I would ever want to. I already have problems with this person, and I don't know if I ever told you the story. I would have to tell you offline. But needless to say, I've always told her, don't ever put us in the same room together. She will not like the outcome.
I know that's right.
And it was not for this instance. It was something else. But suffice to say, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Suffice to say, when it comes to people and their kids and having other people do things, like, I don't like that, especially when the other parent is there. It's one thing if you're getting up and the other parent isn't in there, like, maybe the little ones want to be helpful and you're like, okay, well, you're in charge then. That's one thing. If you're doing it just in the moment or something like that, I'm not going to be like, no, like, I'm not going to be like that or something like that. But, like, if you're actively trying to make your child someone else's responsibility, even when you're there, because let's face it, the reality is that if anything happens, you want to be able to blame someone else. It's just weird to me. And the fact that your sister is enabling this type of behavior is weird to me as well. Not the asshole. Not at all.
Because the first thing I would have said, will you tell that bitch, no, she better not ever come out her mouth and ask me again. Since I make it such a big deal, don't involve me. If you want to change that, and don't involve my children either. Mm-hmm. If you, as her sister, want to be an enabler, you do that. You go and change some diapers. You go and watch. Like, it's a whole nother human being that is that baby's parent sitting right here. Mm-hmm. But she gonna look at all of us in the room. Okay.
Right.
If that's the case, if y'all feel like we got to do babysitting every time y'all come over here, or y'all get a free break or something every time y'all come over here, y'all just need not come.
Yeah.
Y'all just need not. We just don't need to have y'all over here no more.
Because the way I would say it, like, the one thing about having the child's favorite snacks, I'd be like, my children don't like that, so we don't have it in the household. If you would like to bring one and have it stored here so that when you do come, you don't have to pack it up every time, sure. We have an extra space in the pantry that you can put the box of crackers. But I'm not going out to buy your kid's favorite stuff for when you come over if you can just pack it up and bring it yourself. Like,
yeah.
No.
Like, now I will say, if I know we got kids coming over, or like my family knows that has kids that we coming over, there is an exchange of like, but that's just how we do. We just be like, do they like this? Okay, because I'm about to go to the store and I'm about to get some, we gonna get snacks for the occasion if we know the kids is coming over. Everybody does that.
Yeah.
But for you to call ahead and ask me if I got the shit that your baby like when you are getting in a whole vehicle to come over here and got to pass stores, you got to be out your rabbit ass mind. Like, why am I keeping your baby's favorite shit on stock?
Yeah.
If we don't eat it, if I got it, sure. If you know that I keep it in the pantry, whatever. But I'm not, like you say, I'm not finna go out to the store to get your baby shit.
Right. Yeah. It's a different, like I said, there's different scenarios of it. Like if you're calling to see if it's already there so you don't have to pack it, that's another thing. Sure.
That's different.
And it's the same thing, like you were saying. Yeah. When we would have my nephew over, we often, because we didn't have him over often enough, we knew that she was going to pack stuff for him, but we would go out and make sure we had stuff on hand for him if he wanted something else, because he was just so picky. Like one day he would like it, one day he didn't. So we didn't make we didn't specifically go out every single time he came. Especially because, like I said, his mom would tend to pack his stuff for him. Like she knew what he liked, what he would eat, and she would just let us know, hey, he likes this, that, or the third, and then we could make sure we had it on stock. But we didn't really have to make any special trips or anything like that.
Yeah. I'm with you on this one. Not the asshole. I'm not changing. There's actually a story that I always said growing up that I was not finna be changing no diapers. I was one of those people. Yeah. But for me, it was a physical thing because I would literally get like nauseous. And I remember a friend of mine had a child when we were towards the end of our school career. And I remember she had laid the baby down on the bed and she had to go do something really quickly. And she was like, oh my God, can you change the baby's diaper real quick? Mind you, this is a brand new baby. This baby only maybe a week old or something like that. And I was like, like, I really didn't want to say no because she really had to go do whatever it was that she had to do. I don't remember what it was, but it was something that was actually like important. And I was like, okay, girl, I zip, brought that diaper down. Immediately, I was like, somebody, please come in here. And so another one of my friends was thankfully there. And he came in and I was like, I'm so sorry, but you got to do this diaper. I literally cannot. And I didn't do and I never changed another diaper until my child was born. And that was like, maybe 8 years apart or something like that. 8 years apart.
At least, you grew into it. When it was your child,
I had no choice.
you took that responsibility. Some people wouldn't use that excuse, or not even excuse, but that line. In their eyes, they just don't do it.
Don't do it. Yeah.
They can't do it. They would say, oh, I can't change a diaper because it makes me sick as well. And so you're just going to have to change every single diaper. Even though this
Now, I ain't going to hold you. I struggled for a long time with my little one. That beginning journey, I really had to get the stomach of steel because it was sometimes where if it was just too much going on, I had to call my wife I'm sorry. I'm about to pass out. Please take it. You know what I'm saying? One of our friends actually passed out while changing the diaper, because the diaper was so messy. Like, it's a real thing. So I'm not judging people, off of that. But for people who just refuse to do it off the principle, I'm judging you.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm judging you. All right. Well, I had a good time today, Crystal. How about you?
I had a good time. Yes, absolutely.
Sensational. Well, thank you. And thank you all for joining us for another episode of the Tea and Crystals podcast. If you like what you heard, make sure that you leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening. Make sure that you also leave us a written review, and you will also get a shout out like that person did last week. If you like what you saw, make sure that you like, comment, share, and subscribe on YouTube. I want to pull over for a second to speak to the YouTube community. I love you, YouTube community. I really do. I'm missing some of you. Now, the YouTube community is the one community that I go to. Okay? And I love to chit chat, have conversation in the comment section with y'all. Now, y'all been there. But y'all ain't been. It's a couple of y'all that I'm missing. Okay? If you listening to this podcast and you know that I'm talking to you, get your ass back down there in the comments and talk to me. I want to talk to you. Okay. If you have any questions, comments, or anything that you would like to share, anything you've seen, any stories, any Diddy updates, that you want us to discuss on the show, you can do that by leaving that in our DMs on our various social media platforms or sending it to our email. That's teaandcrystal@gmail.com. teaandcrystal@gmail.com. Subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Facebook by searching Tea and Crystals Podcast. Follow us on TikTok. That's the second time in a row I've done that. Mm-hmm. Follow us on TikTok at Tea and Crystals Podcast and on the Instagram at Tea and Crystals Pod. Now, Crystal, is there anything else you want to say to the people before we get the hell up out of here?
Yeah, and we actually meant to do this at the beginning of the episode, but we just wanted to warn you guys that there is a possibility the first week of June we will not have a new episode. We're going to try to remind you guys over the next couple episodes leading up to it. But, we got some things going on and our schedules are just not meshing. This should be the only time in the near future that this happens. But just for you guys to know, the first week of June, which I think would be... I
think it's maybe the third? No, the second.
The second. So June 2nd, I don't believe we'll have a new episode. That will be just... hiatus week for everyone to take a break and everything like that. Mm-hmm. But other than that, thank you guys so much. We hope you guys enjoyed the episode. As always, leave your lovely comments and we will respond to them, and we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye, y'all.